That's really crazy. Well, do you feel, honestly, let's say, I don't know, some huge record company came to you and said, we're going to do this huge movie. It's going to be just this television show. It's going to be all connected, and we're going to throw millions of dollars your way. Will we hear Gaelle singing about her Laffy Taffy?
Never.
Okay.
I mean, I don't even have, like, it's not even in my like, I don't.
Right.
I lack the compunction. I really do, to write stuff like that. I can't even begin to make myself.
Right. But there's a way to be sensual, and sexy and all that, but, some things are just, I think some people try to be a little too obvious maybe, or, sometimes I do kind of feel insulted when I listen to certain music. It's like, it lacks imagination.
If we really want to get into it, like, are these people, like, in it for the art, or are they in it because they just want to be heard, or are they in it,
right.
Like, you have to think of people's reasons on why they're in this industry.
Right.
Are they in it to get out of the hood? Are they in it to make some money?
Right.
I'm in it for the art, and I'm in it for the artistic expression, and I'm trying to push boundaries and be a little compelling,
right,
with what I'm doing. And not everybody is in it for that, and I can't down them for it. Of course, I might get a chuckle out of the subject matter and the content.
Right.
Bless their hearts. There's a place for it. There's a place for, there is a place for very, just, and what is the word that I'm looking for? Disposable.
Right. Okay.
There's a place for disposable. You're not really going to be hearing "Shake That Laffy Taffy" 20 years from now.
Let's
on
hope not.
Oldie station. Talk about some. Here's the good oldie. Shake that Laffy Taffy, like Trap Boy Central. I mean,
right.
Come on, like I don't foresee that, but if it does happen, I'll send you $20 in the mail if I can find you. Because I don't see that.
Right.
It's for a certain time and a certain place, and I think as like that. And then the next decade, people are going to look back and be like, what in the world were we thinking when we were shaking our Laffy Taffy?
Right.
And it was, it's kind of like the Macarena. People are just like, what in the hell did I like about the Macarena?
Right.
Like, what was I thinking when I was doing the Macarena? Dirty dancing. What was I thinking? I was on somebody's face in the middle of a dance floor. My God, I'm so embarrassed.
And it's on tape now.
It's for real. Like, I dare somebody to dirty dance or something like that, like in the middle of a dance floor. Right? You get arrested.
Right.
You get arrested for that now. Like, because we know better. It's no longer dance craze right now. I think there are laws against it.
Right. Okay. Well, do you ever feel a certain responsibility with your music, or do you feel like, no, I'm not here to raise your kids or anything. I'm just here to make music and just be creative the way that I feel that I need to be creative, or?
I mean, that's kind of, I kind of go both ways on that. One, I don't want to raise your kids.
Right.
But if your kids like me, I'm going to try to treat them like they're my own. I'm going to try to do things and say things and act in a way in which, if my own kids were watching me, or, I don't have kids, but
I don't either.
If my own kids were watching me, would I want my kids to see me doing this? Would I want my kids to hear me saying this? Like, if you notice, the only time I use profanity on my album is in Parkway.
Ding, ding, ding. Thank you.
I don't curse and
right.
foul language. I try to, I try to grab a dictionary when I'm reading, for real. I try to use words that, not to say I try to go over people's heads, but I try to keep it clean, and I try to keep it, compelling. I try to keep it a little bit romantic.
Right.
I don't like being obscene, unless it's for a specific purpose, which was like Parkway. It was a specific character. It was speaking from a character's position, which is not me, which is not Gaelle. Gaelle was not singing that song.
Right. Okay.
It was some crazy lady.
Right.
The crazy lady came out. She wrote a song and she said, "Sing this for me," and I sang the song and I put it on the record. The crazy lady did the say song.
And there it is.
And there you have it. So
Okay.
yeah, I don't feel that I'm wholly responsible for raising your kids, because
Right.
people have to raise their own kids, but I am an artist, and I am going to allow myself certain freedoms that I'm not going to curb because somebody goes, oh, but my daughter loves you so much. Well, I love her too, but I'm grown.
Right. Okay, great. Now,
At the end of the day, a lot of these parents have to realize we are grown people making music, and if our market share, if our market is 14-year-old kids, that's because they have the freedom to go out and buy it, or it's being marketed to them. You might want to holler at Viacom,
right.
or Clear Channel. You might want to holler at them because they're pushing it to your kids.
Right. Okay. All right. Now I'm gonna try to wind it down here, but it's just been so much fun. I don't want to. But okay. Now let's say, sometimes I listen to music based on my mood. For instance, if I'm feeling, maybe kind of sensual or something, I might throw on some Maxwell, or if I'm feeling melancholy, I might throw on Sade or Nina Simone. Do you do that as well, or do you just listen to everything, that you can listen to?
I mean, I'm always listening to different things. Like, one day I'll just turn on my iTunes. I have my iTunes. I'll turn on my iTunes and I'll play like the Keen record because I'm chilling out.
Right.
But if I'm ready to go out and party, I'll throw on some Daft Punk so fast.
Right.
Or I'll throw on some, Sean Paul, or Bounty Killer or something like that, and I'll really. I have this way of saying, okay, I'm in the mood for this, and there's always an artist out there that nails that mood.
Right.
And that's why you have to constantly just be out there and not stick to one thing or one artist or one channel or one station. Branch out and dig in the crates and look for different stuff.
Right. Okay.
Now,
what mood do you think your music would fit?
Wow. Ooh, okay. It's really strange because, I think my record, if you listen to it from beginning to end, it is a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, it is.
So you'll start up and then you'll go deep and then you'll kind of, go back up and waver and swirl and then end up in this space. And this is, I'm not saying it because that's what I intended on doing.
Right.
But this is what people have told me has happened to them. And the strangest thing is that most people end up clicking with my album when they're not paying attention to my album.
That's interesting.
Which is kind of strange. Like, for instance, if one of my friends was actually riding in his car on a long trip, and he was stuck in traffic or something like that, and he popped my CD in, and he was riding by himself on Sunday, and it was a sunny day, and took him 60 minutes to get home, and by the time he got home, the time had passed, and he had really understood things, and he'd gone through a whole bunch of emotions and everything like that, and it's really, you really have to understand, like, I didn't set out to do one thing with this record. I set out to express my feelings, and I have a lot of them.
Right. And you did that very well, I might add.
Thank you very much.
Okay.